Hi, everybody. Okay, I'm here today with Kelly. I love her. Kelly's got literally the craziest story. And I'm like, we got to put this out there. So, and we can kind of just do an interview style, but one of the things that is wild about Kelly's story is she had no idea what this deep dive at Deeper Healing was going to uncover. And it uncovered it about her mom, her brother, her entire town she grew up in. So how did you first find Deeper Healing?
I had been experiencing extreme exhaustion and brain fog.
Okay.
To the point where like my children would say something to me and it would just fall and I couldn't process it. And I'm like, putting the keys in the fridge and this kind of stuff. My husband's first making fun of me and then we're like, something's wrong.
You're way too young. Way too young.
Too young for that.
For that.
And just, 2-3 in the afternoon, I'm done for the day type of exhaustion.
Okay.
And a friend of mine had come here, had excellent results.
So you're like, I want to do the deep dive and see what's going on.
So that's what I did.
So blood panel, probably a mycotoxin test, and then the metals test.
I did the metals recently, so I've been coming here for over a year and I had held off on this to chase down some other things because I had developed this horrific and supposedly incurable case of psoriasis on my hands where my hands were torn open and blistering and bleeding for like a year. And so we were chasing that down and some other stuff, and Dr. B had me I did cleanses and I did LDA, and the LDA actually did cure this, so.
It's funny, every night I literally watch the psoriasis commercial, the drug commercials for psoriasis, like on repeat every night, and it's like side effect death. I'm like, what the heck? I just wanted my skin cleared up.
My daughter watches them because she knows what I went through.
Insane.
She's like, oh my gosh, involuntary movements.
So, okay, well, I'm glad that cleared up. Okay, so it's interesting too that you like kind of waited to do the metals testing, because a lot of people do this. They're like, I just want to do one thing at a time. And then some people are like, give me it all. Like I'm doing that with my son right now. He's getting all his testing done and it's going to be the big reveal.
Well, it's smart because here we are,
right,
and I get this metals test done, and Dr. B looks at me and he goes, you have the highest aluminum I've ever seen. And I'm like, what?
So Kelly tells me this, I'm like, okay, whoa, I know he's seen some high aluminum. What's going on with you?
I'm thinking it's going to be lead from some things in my childhood that would have made me think, well, I obviously have lead toxicity. I have the highest aluminum. I don't drink pop out of cans. I drink out of glass bottles. We have reverse osmosis water. I'm like, what?
And so this is wild how she connects it out. So her aluminum's off the charts. He's like, where did you grow up? Okay, this is where like head explode. Okay, so you grew up in Westchester?
I grew up in Westchester, Illinois, and as it turns out, someone else here is from that area and says to me, did you know that the Reynolds aluminum plant was like a couple miles from our house in the 80s? No, I did not. But let's chase that down, shall we?
So the largest aluminum foil.
One of the top 10 in the country.
Manufacturing it.
Yes.
So the excess waste from the manufacturing basically went into all the waterways.
Yes. So this plant's a half mile from the Des Plaines River. And apparently at its peak in the 80s, so like y'all, any of you Gen X kids who drank out of the garden hose, guess what we were drinking? Mm-hmm. Didn't know it. My dad grew the tomatoes in the backyard, all that plume under the houses. I did some research on this because I couldn't believe it. It was like a 3.2 million square foot facility. It said every time it rained, like 300 pounds of aluminum and 50 pounds of, I think, chromium, zinc, and copper getting dumped into the waterways, into the river, the dust coming off of it, you're breathing it. Drinking it out of your hoses. If you had well water, drinking it out of the well water.
I mean, how many millions of people do you think in Illinois have been affected by this?
Well, I can't even. I mean,
like this is like I'm trying to take that in. I'm like, okay, and then there's like the downriver.
Well, where else did it go? Right, it's dumped off into the Des Plaines River, and the soil is impacted by it. Okay, because apparently in the early 2000s, the EPA went in and took like 100,000 cubic yards of affected soil out. So that's how they know some of the figures, but this is 20 plus years later.
Yeah, and now everyone's just living.
And now everyone's just living, and like I would have never known this. I know for a fact my brother doesn't know this.
So tell me, okay, so now you're going backwards and connecting dots.
Well, yeah, okay.
With your mom and
even just growing up as a kid, like I was always a rashy kid. My mom's like, oh, I had to wash your hair over the sink because the shampoo would make your back break out in a rash. I told Dr. B, well, I haven't been able to wear traditional deodorant since I was like 20 because it would make me break out in a rash. And he's like, oh, that's because you're sensitized to aluminum.
Yes.
and I've always been and didn't know. So he goes, I don't know how this went away with that aluminum in your body.
Yeah, that's wild. So it's just getting your load down a little bit, and then retraining the immune system with LDA was enough to calm that down. But thank God you didn't say, "Oh, I'm healed." Like, I still want to check this too. Thank God. This
Well,
was
because
a
all of my
huge-
symptoms aren't gone. I mean, I'm making
Right.
progress, but I'm still struggling with some
Yeah.
things. And he's looking at, because he's diving into everything, he's looking at some other panels and going, all right, we're getting this under control, but why is this here? Why is this here? And then we're looking at this, and he's like, oh, your immune system's like been on fire.
Been on fire.
Probably for your whole life.
Probably your whole life.
And I've had autoimmune issues for my entire life.
And how would you weren't like, if you weren't digging in the way you're digging in here, if you were at a different practice, it would be a lot of like diet and supplements and pushing back on you, not getting to.
And giving you IV immunosuppressants.
Right.
I mean, that's like the number one. This, I was told, incurable, just put steroids on it. And the steroids made it worse. The steroids made like blisters up all my fingers.
So painful. So painful.
So I'd be on immunosuppressants and I'd be
This is
sick
the
all the
thing.
time.
We
Would be-
know how many people, if the commercials are running nonstop every night,
Right.
we know that this is millions of people.
And it's like heartbreaking because I see the moms all the time. My child has eczema. My child's suffering from this, from that. And it's like the steroid creams and the bleach baths and all this stuff that they have the kids do. And it's like, how many people are little kids like me who were just, well, you're a rashy kid.
Yeah.
I just always thought, well, I'm a rashy kid.
That's just the way you are.
Yeah.
Now you're reviewing everything from your childhood. Tell me about your mom. What happened to your mom?
So my parents bought this house in like the late 70s. I was born in 79, my brother was born in 85. And somewhere after my brother was born, my mother developed agoraphobia and panic disorder. She used to be a nurse. She quit working, has never gone back to work. She couldn't get off the floor. She couldn't leave the house. She ended up on all kinds of medications. And, we just thought, people, that happens to people.
Metal
She has
poisoning
anxiety.
never crossed your
No,
mind.
aluminum poisoning
no,
was
did
not on the
cross
list. And to
mind.
this day, she's in her 70s now. She's been on benzos for 40 years. And she's getting dementia. And she's mad. She knows it's from that. She said to me on the phone, I hate that I'm losing my mind. And I know it's from these drugs and I can't get off of them.
I'm so sorry.
It's mind-blowing to think of the downstream of all this stuff that's all connected. And you can grow up there your whole life and never know.
And never connect the dots.
That I never knew it was even there how I was a
This is such an
kid.
important story because I can tell you, like, even where I grew up, they dumped all the asbestos. In the whole northern region, they dug a hole and they put all the asbestos in the hole and covered it with water and put a chain link fence around it. And that was just in Pennsylvania. So these things, that is a designated Superfund site. I don't even know if yours is even designated.
I don't think so.
But yours is just like, oh, that happened, it's gone now, and everything's cool.
They went in and cleaned up
Okay.
some soil and we cleaned it.
What happened to your brother? Because you're like, wait a minute, I think this has had an effect
Well,
on
is
my
it
whole
connected,
family.
right? My brother has suffered from a lot of things too, and he's 40 and he can't work. He has a lot of anxiety and issues like that as well.
It has a direct effect on your brain. So, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You need to check metals.
It's the first thing I thought of was, oh my gosh, my brother has to do this.
Yeah.
He has to do chelation.
I'm saying this to my brothers and sisters too. Like, my lead's so high, and I now have definitely traced it back to my childhood because my daughter, who I had when I was 30, already has the levels that I have. So I'm like, okay, this is like 30 and under was when this happened. So now I'm going back to my 4 siblings. Hey guys, you got to check your metal. This is such a giant thing. If you are in your midlife and you are having any of the things, can't think of the word, I'm tired all the time.
Yeah.
I have these skin conditions.
All these rashes. They said also fragile bones, broken bones all the time. I didn't have broken bones. Mine manifested in other ways, but all of these symptoms that you just wouldn't place on aluminum that's in your water runoff, in your soil.
Crazy. It's
And
literally
I
crazy.
just kept thinking all the jokes, the Gen Xers were always joking about the garden hoses.
I know.
And my kids
I
don't
know.
believe it.
I know.
I'm like, no, seriously, in the summer, you just went to the side of the hose, you
absolutely.
drank the water, and you moved on with your day.
All right, you guys. So this is just a really important story for anybody out there who's suffering from a lot of weird stuff. It may be environmental toxins from where you grow up. And anybody who grew up in Illinois, have a look at Westchester, have a look at the Reynolds factory.
Yeah.
And you need to get your metals checked. I don't know how to put this out to your area, but this is something very important
Yeah.
for people who live there or who have lived there.
Absolutely.
So, all right, thanks guys.